ranking the top 3 MMA based podcasts. Starting off with, we got the Believe You Me podcast with Michael Bisping and Paul Felder. This actually used to be my favorite podcast back in like 2018 when they still had Louis J. Gomez, but Anthony Smith came. I think he kind of brought the vibes down, but now that he's gone and Paul Felder's here, I think this is a great podcast again. Next is the Red Hawk Recap podcast with Tim Welch and Diesel Joe Riggs. I know this is a weird shout, but they actually have a really good dynamic between each other. There's a good banter, and they're knowledgeable in the sport. And you have a legend like Diesel Joe Riggs. So I think this is honestly an underrated podcast. And the best podcast in MMA right now is the Jackson podcast with the legend Rampage Jackson, DJ Dillashaw, and Luke Rockhold, especially after they review the pay-per-view events. This podcast honestly has a good balance of laughter and knowledge in the game, especially with DJ Dillashaw's input on the fights. He's honestly a legend. If you guys like this list, follow me on TikTok and YouTube.